Good morning. Wow, it's good to be here. Hi. Holy smokes, this upgrades, you guys. It felt very good to just get ready because I've been in bed since Friday night, honestly. But I mean, it all really happened with being talking in a trance to Lilith after the podcast that I recorded with Melanie, which also honestly is a really amazing podcast because Melanie has this beautiful way of connecting with the Lilith energy, and that is what she guided me through in her own way to talk to Lilith during my quote unquote sleep. But all these upgrades, holy smokes, you guys, all these upgrades, how are you doing? Because I just know from my experience and also the experience of others that have been just like going through massive shifts like I have been. And thank you for all your comments and your messages because it made me feel so good. Like, I could not move really on Saturday. And there's so much of the openness on the left side, and I've been sharing this. You know, the readjustment of my chest and like literally like all this going back to center because it was a little like caved in, and to feel all of that as it was cracking and during a kundalini class with one of my teachers on Friday night. That was very powerful, by the way. If you haven't experienced Kundalini Yoga, I'm hosting a Kundalini Yoga class of prosperity on the 2nd of January. The link is in my bio if you like to be part of it. But anyways, like it just cracked and opened up so much during class that it was like waking up on Saturday, like, oh my gosh, feeling like so sore in my upper body. And then there were so many things that opened up in my third eye and the channels from the throat and here. It was just wild, but very good, very good. So, and I know we're all preparing for a massive remembrance. This is where Ganesh tells me a massive remembrance as we're coming into the winter solstice, as we're coming into the new year. And you know, coming into the winter solstice, if you are in the northern hemisphere, right? Because if you're in the southern hemisphere, it's summer solstice. If you are in the northern hemisphere, like the way I see and I work with winter, based on the inner seasons of my moon, is that it's the time to rest, you know, preparation, listening to messages. So this is like the beauty of things. And of course, Ganesh will have something to say in a bit. This is why you see me like this. Okay, so it's like the preparation, you know, like most things get prepared, most things get warmth during the winter times, and it sounds a little bit like it's misleading because it's cold, but at the same time there's this nurturing part of us that is just embracing what is there. And so because there are many times that you cannot do what you normally do during summer or during fall or during springtime, there is this excitement, you know, in the winter months to just get ready for what's to come, you know, like again the preparation time. So being in the cooker, if you will, in the pressure cooker, so that you're mixing up your ingredients, and you will not see in a way the results fully until the springtime because that's when it's coming through. But it's a wonderful moment, it's a wonderful time to celebrate, you know, to celebrate the seasons, and also like knowing that the outside world is a reflection of us. So celebrating that within you, like new phase of this time, right? We can't really like call a year because a year is coming to an end, but if we didn't really have what we call years, right? It's a new phase of your life. And so what in this winter solstice event, or even in the winter times or summer, whatever you are, right? What are you prepared for? So summer is more like the celebration time. So the sun is out, it's warm, and you're doing a bunch of things, being outside, you know, there's like more things to do outside, hanging out with friends, and etc. So in the winter time is more internal. So in the winter time, you really go inwards and begin to listen. So the work actually happens mostly, inside the house. Or of course, if you go out to do some things, but there's not that movement of being outside as much as in the summer or the spring, or sometimes even in the fall, right? But so like, what is the movement that is happening? What is the movement that is happening within you that is guiding you to a deeper part of yourself, a deeper remembrance? A different remembrance within yourself. And then this is like the moment of like being in the inquiry. So okay, so what really brings you joy, and how can you tune in into that through the entire time? It's not just about like doing your inner work. I mean, of course, we all do that regardless if we're aware of that or not, but also having fun in that aspect. And how can you really integrate, especially if you're a summer person like myself, like the winter, into being more adjustable for you, but meaning you adjust to winter. But then like bringing that joyfulness into it. So there's little aspects of yourself that can come through if you allow it to, right? So in the stillness, it doesn't really mean just being still in meditation or whatever, but in the stillness of the movement of the nature itself, So there is this moment where, in summer it seems like there's a lot going on. There's more heat. There is more energy being used by nature itself, by the animals, by, of course, humans. But then as we come into winter, there is more of that stillness. And there's more of the inwards. There's more of that warmth. And it's just like, I'm here. I'm here with myself. I'm here. How can I really make this be worth it, right? Because it's also an experience of yourself, and it's not about dreading it. I hear that a lot of people actually saying like that they hate winter and they wish it was over and stuff, but like, so analyzing that part that doesn't prefer the winter, why don't you prefer the winter? Is it really because it actually, in a way, helps you to slow down and to be more still? Because again, the energies are the ones that are speaking like that. There's not like so much going. It's more of like, let's chill. Let's see what's going on. So is that the scary part that comes through? Or is that really like something that you're tuning into, So like, again, it's not about remembering that you might have fear, but fear doesn't have you. When I heard that, I was like, whoa, yes. But then also just like looking at it, like, how are you of service of me? What is your medicine? Because everything in life has medicine. And this is like the wonderful thing about it. Everything in life has medicine. So what is the winter medicine? And how can you really access that? So like, what I really enjoy now, honestly, because this will be my first winter. I used to dread it for sure. I'm not saying my first winter, but like my first winter in Kansas, that it's like it snows and it gets cold and all these things. Because I'm a summer girl, I was born during the summer, and I love the heat. And I also lived in the desert for a really long time in Las Vegas, so like, I absolutely love the heat and wearing minimal clothes whatsoever, to be able to feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. But then coming here into the winter months, and actually seeing the transition from summer to fall to winter, it's like, okay, like, so how can I use this time, what the nature is telling me, the wisdom of nature as the leaves are falling, as it's getting colder, and it will go into snow, So what am I shedding? And this is what I see, like the mirror of nature in myself. What am I shedding? And am I actually allowing the shed to flow? Like how the leaves fall, during fall, right? How the leaves just fall. It's not like, I'm sure, well, this is just me saying it, but I'm sure that with the leaves are not like going into themselves like, ooh, I don't want to let this go, The leaves trust the own process of the trees, So then in this time, it's like, what is it that I'm letting go? And can I actually just surrender a little bit more into this rather than being so tight? And am I holding on to that? And why am I holding on to that? This is like such an important question. So why are you holding on to things? Especially that part of like that you're not good enough, that you're not powerful enough, that like if you're starting your new business or like if you're just starting a new journey in your life period, right? So what is really like the story in the mind that stops you? And as we're coming into this like this time of the year, it's like, can I be more in stillness and surrender with what is? So then I can flow more during the spring and I can have that fiery part of myself during the summer, right? So then here it goes into like, okay, trusting it. Happy solstice year, trusting it. And of course we can trust it, you know? But in these moments there is like that equilibrium that it is like is really into this part of like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I could trust it. But you actually do know you can trust it. So that I don't know part is not even you. The I don't know part is not even you. So here is just like letting it go. Letting it go and flow. And honestly, you know, of course we go to releases and all these things, but like there's one important thing that when we actually hold on to stuff as we're releasing, whether it's a story, whether it's a memory, whether it's a person, whether it's suffering itself, you know, when we hold on onto that, that's when the releases are actually the hardest. And I'm telling you this based on my experience too, because I've been working, as you know, with this DT Ganache, and during the releases that I've been having since Wednesday night, there is a moment where I was shown the pain of the world, and I felt it as it was mine, of course, and I was being guided to release all that. And there was a moment that clicked, that it was like, well, I am the portal through which this is being released, and this is not mine, even though I am feeling it. And some of the parts were actually my memories. And through all that experience, I felt all the energies exit, and I felt the pain, and of course I cried, but I didn't hold on to that. Because again, it's not me and it's not mine. So you're not the memories, you know, you're not the emotions, you are not what you were told to believe that it's you, you know, as in like the label, as in this is, whatever fits in this box is you. So you're not that. And then when you really realize that, and it's a sense of feeling and knowing, when you really know that, then the releases that come are more gentle. And we can use the gentleness of winter to actually let it go and release softly, softly. Because yes, of course, there's parts of winter that are like brutal, you know? But there's also this beautiful stillness in it. And like soundless, but also very alive. So that part is also inside of us. So that stillness and the part that is soundless, but at the same time is very loud. This is the part that we access as we release. So as we release, and we're just literally seeing ourselves as this divine portal. Everything that comes out of you, it's not something to like hold on to, because again it wasn't even yours to begin with, you know. So like that, when you hold on to, is when you create more suffering in the release process. They might create some kind of trauma and might release throughout the entire release too. But when you go back into that stillness, knowing that you are the portal and things are just moving through you and exiting through you, accessing the soundless stillness that is also loud within you, it can just move, and it moves like water. So it really is the part of us that, let me hear better. So if you really were to see a portal, you know, hi Peter, if you really were to see like a portal, like it's just like something like round, and there's like energy moving, right? and then passing through it and around and all those kinds of things, right? Now this circular or this pill-shaped portal, now give it your form, your human form. But still the energies are passing through and moving around you, all around, through you, and etc. So it's like, it's like the same thing. It's just that now we really believe that because we have this form, this is our only form. But in reality, it's just this form so you can have this experience. And now as you continue to release, when you have the mind that even though you look like this is actually a portal that has this kind of shape. But then it is that normal portal that we see, and it just goes like, so being in this work as a light worker, as a healer, as an alchemist, whatever it is that you call yourself, all these energies that pass through are just meant to exit through you. In a way that also something comes out of you, okay? Because it passes through you in a way that something will be touched within your system, within your portal, the form of your portal, to release, right? So, like the current, right? So the water, or in the river, the soak in the river. If you were to drop a leaf in the river and the river is moving, the leaf will move with the river, right? With the flow of the river. It's the same thing as the energies are passing through you. And there's something that is already loose in your own portal that it catches us and goes like, right? So what happens when you believe that you can't let go of this leaf? So you're going against the current, right? So what are you going to do if you have something that fell in the current of the river and you just want to get it back? Sometimes it might be even impossible to get it back because the river is like, the flow of the river is too fast and you might not be fast enough or quick enough to get it. Or maybe it's just like sinking down into the river, right? Or maybe you even harmed yourself because you're trying to get that back. But it's not meant to flow with you. It's meant to flow with the river, to go, to go somewhere else. So then it becomes something else and goes into somebody else's portal. Or just stays in the space between portals, the consciousness itself, right? So this is what we do as humans whenever we are releasing, and then we're just holding on tight to that because that gave you identity. That made you believe you were whatever it is that it made you believe. And so then you're going against the current, and it harms you in the ways of like very deep emotions. And so here is where the release feels more intense, because again, we're trying to tell the current to go somewhere else and push it out, and even take something out of the current. You can only take something out of the current if you're fishing for it. And this is when you're rooting something into your own portal for the highest good of you and all. You're fishing for that. You're consciously grabbing it. But there's a difference, because you're grabbing something that trying to take it away from the current itself when it's meant to flow. So now in this part of the experience, in order to be more gentle with yourself, ask the questions, right? And again, especially now coming into the amazing winter and using the stillness and the wisdom of the land and the wisdom of the elements. Like, what can I let go easier? Not faster. What can I let go easier? How can I surrender my being so this just goes? Right? Because like in this journey, there's so much of like, we want to get to know ourselves and all these things, we want to release and whatever it is that you're searching for. However, it is yourself the one that blocks that journey. Because again, there's a story in the head, there's a story in the subconscious that is saying that, no, you can't let this go. How could you let this go? Because this was you. If you let that go, then you miss yourself. You don't have an identity. Those identities are really tricky. Very, very tricky. Not in the form that they will help you they will make you feel lost. But like when you have your own identity, as you establish your own identity, you establish your own foundation, you establish how you want to live your life and how do you want to share it, and whatever it is you want to do and you're meant to do is different. The identity that was given to you, the identity that was like, this is who you are, this is how you dress, this is how you speak, this is what you do, and that's it. Anything else outside of that is not you, and that is just like what people say, it's evil, right? And so here is that part of like the struggle, in a way, the part of the struggle, because then for so long you believed you were this thing. However, there is this really big part of you that goes into like this, and it's like, this is how I feel. I want to have my own identity, or I want to live my life. But because there was so much conditioning, this is the one that is the heaviest in you. That is the heaviest in you because you believe is the heaviest in you. The moment that you like soften into it, the moment that you just say, yes, that was an identity that was totally like given to me. And I accepted it because you accepted that identity. But I no longer vibrate with that, and I don't really resonate with that identity anymore. Then the channels to the identity or the being that you truly are and want to be, it's like the river, going back to the portal, the river, the current goes back into it. And this is when you root it, This is where, rather than moving things away, the portal roots it into yourself. Because now here is the current in your own portal working twice in different ways. So it's moving, it's releasing, right? As it's shedding this part of itself that it thought it was, right? The identity. And rooting the new part of itself that it was already. And it never was disconnected from it. But it was just an illusion in the story that was created because there was this big part of life that said, this is you. This is you, right? And so, of course, whenever somebody tells us that, when somebody told you, like, you are a woman and you do this, or you are a man and you do this, as a kid, you're like, okay, especially if it came from somebody that you look up to, right? So as kids, when the adults, the parents, are pretty much the heroes of the kids, right? So the parent says something, the kid's like, okay, well, yeah, I believe you, because what else am I going to do? And there's nothing in their head that says you're trying to harm me, not that they want to, However, they're still putting their stories, their own stories in the kid that is, in a way, learning to write its own story. And this is why there's like a good, like, if you want to call it analogy, like the kid looking up to the parents, like literally looking up and also looking up to them. Right? So this is like the big story that gets pulled out of you as you realize that was a story just given to you. Perhaps a story that was meant to let go in this existence, to break it from that chain of the lineage that you're in. And not just from the lineage, but also from the whole consciousness itself, because we're all part of this divine consciousness from the collective, right? And now, like, going again into the portal aspect of yourself, as you remember, right, that the reason why releases, one of the biggest reasons why releases are so painful, is because there is a story in you that is like, this is me, so deeply rooted. This is me. And then if I let go of the story, what does that make my parents or my family or my friends? Were they full of shit? Did they lie to me all along? What happens? How does that get collapses, Because like the identity wants to stay alive. Because that's all you knew. That's all you knew. It doesn't want to die in a way. However, it doesn't die. It just gets transformed because that beautiful energy recycles itself. And it opens up the space for the other aspect of your portal to root that energy that are passing through you. So there's so many energies passing through us at all times, so many of them, right? So anything that you're calling forth, anything that you're like manifesting, it's like passing, and again going back into that portal that you are, and the energy is moving through you and around you, just like your portal has this form, your physical form, right? So when do you want to call something upon your being, you must root it into you, otherwise it's just passing, you know? So for example, if you are searching or have been asking for a partner, right? And you're just saying like, where is this freaking partner? Where is this partner? I keep asking for it, right? But then you're not really rooting that little seed into you. And it's passing through you. You're saying, hey, I'm here. And it goes back. And hey, I'm here. And it goes back, you know? And it's not even being seen or felt. However, we're very good. And whenever something exists from the being, we're just like, this is good for me, so I'm going to keep it, even though it creates suffering in your system. You see the difference? You see the difference? That part of the self that grabs it because it knows suffering so well and is so afraid of love, of really deep connections, of very deep unconditional love to the self and others. So now going back into this part of releases, softening, especially into, again, using the wisdom of the winter time, the stillness, but so much communication is happening, and that stillness and the whiteness of it all, and also the nakedness of the trees. There's such a beauty right there that is holding space for all of us, because again, it's a mirror of us. So look at the trees, how bare they are. And are they actually afraid of being seen that way? And are you afraid of being seen bare? And I'm not really talking about without clothes, but as who you are, just with no mask. Are you afraid of being seen as who you are? And this is such an amazing question, such an amazing inquiry to really journal about. In dance, whatever it is that you do, paint, you know? And then here it can actually give you the question of why the releases are painful. Why some things are not coming into you. And dang, that just blew my mind. Oh my gosh, I love when those things flow, because I don't even know what's gonna come through. So here it is. Hello everybody, so good to have you here. So good to have you here. And let me just share it one more time, you know, to feel the pain of the world in your system, when you actually know that it's the pain of the world and the pain of others. It's very deep. It's very deep. It's not just your story that you're feeling, it's everybody else's story that is being felt through you for, again, a release. So you're the portal, right? And those stories are passing through you to be released. Perhaps because the person that is releasing that has no freaking idea how to do it. And is asking from the space of the heart to be helped. And this is what we do, you know? Energetically speaking, this is what we do. Somebody sends a signal and somebody's ready to do that, and I got you. And it happens. So there was one time, years ago, when I felt I was really deep in an acid journey, and I felt the pain of the world, and I had to lay down and just feel it, because I was just gonna hyperventilate or something. And then I was like, holy smokes, this is what we call God feels all the time. And it was a different experience than what I had on Saturday night. Because on Saturday night, I saw it so beautifully. And I was actually so humbled that those energies passed through me. And they were very nasty looking images, you know, from my life too. But this is the point, that it wasn't mine. So it's not yours to keep. It's not yours to really say I'm gonna grab this into my system and just punish myself and just cry or whatever, hold on to that emotion. That it's not you, because you're not the emotion. You're just a portal with the energies passing through. You know, this is what my work is going back into: remembrance. Remembrance that you're not that. You're just the energy circulating, being aware that it's circulating, and having a personal experience, and at the same time know that it's not the personal experience, but it also is the personal experience. Oh, amazing. I'm so happy for you. Thank you for sharing that. So truly, you know, truly, it's a beautiful space to be in, you guys. Like, as it is in your physical body, it's a beautiful space to be in. It's just like a different way of seeing, you know? A different way of seeing. Like maybe putting a different glasses on or something to be able to see what you are. What you are. And so, yeah, that's the wisdom for today. Which I was like, whew, holy smokes, yeah. And you know, I do have to say that I'm so grateful that Ganesh is working with me, because it's been really helping me to see things differently. Very, very differently. Steffi! and you can do it too, you know? You can do it too. When we really tune in into the portal that we are, when you tune in into the portal that you are, you can actually tune into those energies that are helping you and guiding you. They are like saying, I'm here to guide you beyond your guides and your angels. And it's accessible to all of us. It's just, again, you know, as the portal that we are, as the portal that you are, do you choose to root it into your own energetic fields, or just pass it through? Let's just pass it through, right? So now just like think about like those kinds of things. And then again, going back into how can you celebrate this new season, you know, the winter season. And I am so excited to see snow. I am so excited to be cold. And I don't like being cold, you guys. I don't like being cold at all. I actually got a heated blanket because it was like, oh my God. But I'm excited because it shows something, you know? So like for me, it's like, okay, so why did I not like the cold? Why don't I like the cold? And is this a part of my shadow aspect? You know, what is it trying to tell me? See, there's so much wisdom all around us. And when we actually surrender to that, like we have the light bulb moment coming on, you know? It's like, oh, there it is. Got it. I see it. I see it. Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. Yes, sledding. I haven't done it in years, by the way, but I'm excited to do that. And I definitely don't have like snowing gear here. But when I go to Las Vegas to visit my parents next month, I'm gonna bring it and just like have fun, you know, just playing like a kid. And this is what one of my sisters reminded me. I had a call with her prior to doing the live video. It's like playing, make everything playful. And she's like, I'm even trying to make my journaling playful. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think about it. Oh. Well, maybe you can imagine it, you know, go in your imagination bubble and you're there in snow. Oh, live through me. I'll post some pictures and videos so you can see the snow. So, yeah. Beautiful, you guys. It's a wonderful time to celebrate, and not just because of the holidays. You know, to me, honestly, every single day is a wonderful time to celebrate. Because why not? Because you're doing this, and you've been doing this, you've done this for years, for lifetimes, and you're here, and that's, goodness, such a big celebration, right? Remember where you came from, and now where you are. And from that, just be like, I'm dope. You know, I say that to myself all the time. Oh, okay, cool. So if you want to hang out with me on the first new moon of the year, which is on Sunday, the 2nd of January, I'm having a prosperity class, Kundalini class, and it will be 90 minutes, you know, with teachings and very, very powerful meditations, breath work, and kriyas, all about going into prosperity, which is who you are. Again, the portal itself is prosperous, but all the ideas and the conditions and like the identities took that away from us in a way, you know, like hid it. Let's say hid it rather than took it away, because it never went away. And so if you'd like to tune into that a little bit more, you know, you can sign up for it. There's just limited space because I wanted to be more intimate and really get to know each other as we're journeying together, you know? So yeah. And if you're ready to, I mean, I know you're ready, but if you feel the inclination to really work deep with the elements, I have Elemental Alchemy, which is a 4-month group course that we start on February 2nd. And we're going deep into the elements, how you work with them, how you release through them, and connecting with shamanic practices that when I learned those things, I was like, dang, how is this not taught in school? You know, how is that not taught in school? I don't get it. But of course I get it, you know, that a part of like putting somebody identities in themselves so they believe it rather than them being in their own power. Because what happens when we're in our own power? We cannot be controlled. And there's a few people that like to control others, you know? So of course it's understandable. But it doesn't have to be the journey anymore because now we're conscious. And that's amazing. So, okay. Anything else? Now I love you. Oh, yes. Besides that, I definitely love you a lot. I'm having 2 retreats next year in Florida and Tulum, Mexico. Well, I'm being a host of one, no, like co-host of one of them. So if you like to check them out, this is for women only. Check it out on my link and you can see it. It's actually, I'm really excited to do all of that. I'll be doing meditations, yoga, and cacao ceremonies there. So, okay, I love you. If you need any guidance, you know, send me a message, schedule your remembrance call. I changed it, see, remembrance call, because there's something that gets fully activated in you when you have a really deep conversation with somebody else, which takes you back into remembrance of the portal that you are. And basically how this works, right? Okay, I love you, love you, love you. Have a wonderful week. I will not do a live video on Thursday because we're traveling to my boyfriend's parents' house for Christmas and stuff, and we'll be traveling or leaving at the time that we'll do live video. But I will send you a little video and stuff, so we're still connected. We always are anyway. Ciao.